crowd at once?
Otherwise, I'm going to do 12
Okay.
Thank you.
Sean, anything for you?
Good morning. 2 firearms collected, you said. What can you tell us about where you found those and what you know about them?
So right now they are still being processed through our scientific investigative unit to confirm that they were involved in the shootings. I can confirm that, as you guys know, we have been doing some search warrants, and we have brought in several people of interest to interview, and that's kind of how we have gotten to where we've recovered the firearms through some of our investigative leads and the search warrants.
And I understand there was some sort of scanning of a bag or some sort of check at a bag. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so that is a little bit confusing still, but my understanding is during this process before the shooting happened, one of the deputy sheriffs actually grabbed the bag and was going to check the bag, and another kid snatched it and ran off with it because there was a firearm inside the bag. So that we're still trying to piece all of that together, but that was a little bit before the shooting actually occurred.
Chief, you've made no arrests. Is that accurate to say?
That is accurate. We have not arrested anybody at this point. We have obviously brought in several people for questioning, and we have very significant leads on who's involved, and we are hoping to be able to make some arrests here shortly.
And I know the mayor said this is only the second business day since this happened, but people are concerned about their safety going out to certain events. Do you feel confident that this was a rival group? Was it a gang group? And was it contained, do you think, to those groups?
Yeah, so in the video evidence we have and the interviews we've conducted, this is most definitely 2 groups that were disrespecting each other, and it led into a little bit of a foot chase and assaulting another individual. And at that point, one person did produce a firearm and start shooting, and then someone from the rival group, if you will, decided to pull his firearm and start returning fire.
The gun that was in the bag, does that match the shell casings on the scene?
Can you say that again, please?
The gun that was in the bag, does that match the shell casings at the scene? Like, was that gun used?
So we're still in the process of the 2 guns that we have going through and running those through our NIBIN and comparing them to the shell casing. So that has not been done or has not been completed. I believe they're actually still doing it right now as we speak. So hopefully we'll have some further confirmation that they were the weapons that were used.
Chief,
How
is
do you
it safe
feel
to have
about all
other
the
events
great
happening
work your
coming up
officers
like
are
this
doing?
weekend? How
And
safe is it to have these
we
public
can't even get a
events?
question except for press.
So obviously we have a lot of events coming forward. All right. We did have a good meeting yesterday with Metro Parks, with their leadership and their police department and the downtown group, and our police department and fire and rescue to discuss those. And I am confident that we are putting forth a plan to keep our community as safe as possible. Now, as we saw here at the Old West End Festival, sometimes it's, even with officers being present, it's hard to stop somebody that is committed to doing evil, to stop them from doing that. However, we are doing everything we possibly can to maintain safety at these events. And I think we have a good plan that is going to allow us to move forward with these events for the rest of the summer and keep our community safe.
Chief, I know some people have been saying that there was some sort of discussion or chatter that something was brewing, something was about to happen in the minutes leading up to that. Have you received any information that people knew something was brewing?
So there's a lot of chatter out there. I have no confirmation that anybody, especially from the law enforcement side, knew something was about to happen.
Do you only answer questions from the press, or may I ask one?
Ma'am, go ahead.
How does, as chief of the police, how do you and your officers feel all the hard work and great work you guys do out there, and then the court system throwing these violent offenders right back into our society again to repeat undermining what you guys are doing for us?
So obviously that is a difficult position for us to be in when we're trying to do what we can to get offenders off the street. However, I will say this. We have a very good working relationship with both our municipal and common pleas prosecutors and the courts, and we continue to strive to make sure those individuals that we need off the street are actually held accountable and removed from our community. The last thing we want them to do is be back out there and continue to victimize our community. But unfortunately, there's a lot of things that come into play in every decision, in every court case, that we cannot control. We are one part of the criminal justice system.
Chief, is there any description at all you can give that you need the public to look out for? I understand you don't want to give anything away.
Yep. So I will tentatively tell you that these are two black male suspects in that 18 to 24-year-old range. We are still actively pursuing leads to find them. So there's a lot of things I cannot say at this point because I do not want to jeopardize our efforts to actually apprehend those individuals.
How many of the victims were bystanders as opposed to targets?
Yeah, so of the 12 individuals that were shot, our best estimate is only 3 of those were involved in any of the activity that was happening. So 9 of the 12 were unfortunately innocent bystanders.
But you still only
Chief,
believe there were 2
Chief.
shooters.
That is our best information. We have 2 shooters.
Chief, you've long had discussions about staffing from your department. Could, in your opinion, any staffing have helped try to prevent or try to mitigate what would happen as opposed to responding after it did?
No, at this point, I would say, so there's a lot of things that go into an event that can help contain safety or maintain safety throughout the event. Officers are only one part of that. The footprint of the event was very large, and it's done that way for a reason. I understand that, but that also makes it a little bit harder to contain that event. Having the number of projecting or off-duty officers that were actually assigned there, the number of officers that we backfilled from the shifts to be there, we had an adequate number of officers at this event to try to maintain safety at the event. Unfortunately, you know, there are incidents that happen rapidly, and unfortunately, we are not clairvoyant. We can't predict when it's going to happen, so we try to intervene when we see something, but a lot of times we're left trying to apprehend and prevent further damage.
Chief,
One
what's your
more
message-
question,
what's
and
your
then we're
message-
gotta end the press conference.
And what if we could ask the mayor, what's your...
You got
what
one
is-
more question, period.
Mayor, can we ask you real quick? We know that